Alright, I'm about to make some kind of bold claims in this video. This is coming from a place of a mom who's been struggling with the overabundance of toys in our home and how I have seen that affecting my children's attitudes and just how they play together and just the peace in our home. So if you are a mom who is not having that trouble, maybe this video will not be what you need. But if you are a mom who is just struggling with their toy situation and having sibling conflicts constantly all day long over toys, I hope this video blesses you a little bit. I will try to keep these thoughts in some type of order, but this is something that has been a pain point in our home for the past probably year, if not longer than that. And that's just the overabundance of toys and what I have found it to be teaching our boys. I'm not saying this is the case in every home, but it is definitely, or it was definitely in our home. So thank you so much for being here. My name is Hannah, and this is Your Anointed Home. I make videos for wives and moms who want to steward their homes well for the Lord and His kingdom. And I believe that what you bring into your home is a huge part of that, and that is including your kids' toys. So let's jump into the thoughts that I have right now here. So as I said, toys has been a pain point in our home for quite a while now, and I hear that a lot from moms anyway. Just you hear on Instagram and you see Pinterest of the overstimulating toys and just all of the struggles that come with toy systems and toy organizing and toy rotation. It's just a big, huge part of motherhood when you have little ones. And that's the life I'm in right now. But it is just typical in homes to have this overabundance of toys for our kids in this generation, which we don't even question it these days. If you walk into a home that has so many toys, it's just normal. But I believe as Christian moms, we need to steward our kids' attitudes and remove things in our home that is causing unhealthy attitudes. As a Christian mom, I started seeing a lot of unhealthy attitudes develop in my kids. And the majority of those attitudes were stemming from the toys that we had accumulated over the years. I know that the root of attitudes was, of course, from sin. And I'm not excusing that, just saying it was the toys. But it always did go back to the toys. Like 90% of the time, it would be because of a toy, not having the toy the other brother had, sharing toys. It was just a lot. So I was done. I got to a point where I was just done. I was ready to throw everything out and just become one of those no toy families and live life in peace. But I did not want to be that drastic and just act upon my frustration. But if you just think about it, like, I don't know, 100 years ago, kids played with sticks and dried corn cob dolls, and they played outside. They used their imagination. They worked with their parents. They were taught at a young age to be part of a family, not just thrown on a mat or in their room with some random plastic toys from the store. In this generation, we don't really teach our kids to become adults. We say to let them be kids and to play and to not have any worries, and then at 18 years old, they are just magically supposed to turn into adults and know what to do and everything in between. Again, not in every home is this situation, but kind of, especially in the past generations, recently, this is just what parenting has become, and I want to change that narrative in our home, because I believe it's what we teach them from toddlerhood to early adulthood that will truly matter. And you right now, even with a 2-year-old, you are training that 2-year-old to be an adult in the little things that you are doing or he or she is doing with you. And I'm not saying that kids don't need toys or shouldn't be able to play. Playing is a huge part of how they learn. They do need that. And it's so beautiful to watch them play and interact and work together. But having an overabundance of toys for them to dump on the floor, to argue about, or become obsessed over, which was a huge point in our home, is just not healthy, especially if we are wanting to raise disciples for the Lord. You are welcoming that pain point of aggression and anger and discontentment into your home. If a certain toy is the first thing that your kid asks about in the morning, or if your child completely loses their mind when a sibling has a toy that they want, then they are learning that material things is more important than God or their family, their brothers and sisters. Or if maybe your kid is always asking for a new toy when they have so much already, they are learning to sit in that discontentment and want the things of this world. Again, I feel like these points I'm making are kind of drastic, but if you go down to the root of it, it's kind of true. And what you're training them now is what we're going to or what they're going to do as adults. There are so many adults who just are not content. They want more. They're not content with the one thing they get or just what they have in their life. They just want more. They have that overabundance mindset. And I want to argue that we as the parents, are allowing this overabundance into our homes, and we are provoking our kids to sin. The more clutter we have, the more chaotic we feel, even our kids. And the more temptations that we have around us, the more likely we are to fall prey to sin, and the same is for our kids. So just think about it. If you are tempted by something, if you're sitting in a room that is filled with that thing you're tempted by, you are more likely going to fall into sin. And that is what we are welcoming into our homes when we have an overabundance of toys. I'm not even going to touch on toys that are tied to spiritual attacks and spiritual control and things that are prayed to false gods. That's a whole different topic. I'm not getting into that in this video. But I want to look at the Bible right now. In 1 John 2:16, this verse says, "For all that is in the world, the desires of the flesh and the desires of the eyes and the pride of life, is not from the Father, but is from the world." Those attitudes that may be developing in your child is not from the Father, but is from the world. And the enemy is smiling when he sees our kids fall into that, and we are not training them and protecting them wisely. We need to be teaching them to love the Lord over any other toy or possession in their life. We need to teach them to love their brother or their sister, to listen to mommy and daddy, to treat others with compassion more than we care, or more than they care about getting the toy that they want. If something is causing you to stumble in your sin, you would remove it from your life, right? So I believe we should be teaching our kids to do the same. This is a new journey for us. This is probably over the last 2, 3, or 4 months that I have really been implementing these things, removing toys. I got rid of probably 90% of my boys' toys. And my home is so much more peaceful because of it. I have seen a complete, 360, 180 turnaround. I have been doing this so prayerfully. I've been going into their toy closet, because their closet is pretty much toys, and removing the things that I know cause contention, that I know is not benefiting them, the overstimulating toys, the toys that are not for open-ended play. There were so many toys, especially my oldest boy would just become obsessed over because it was his favorite character at the time, or just, I don't know, just something random that he would become so obsessed over, and if anyone touched it, it was the end of the world. And I will say we still have toys in our home. I did not completely declutter and remove all the toys. We're not a no toy family, but I decluttered a lot. I will link down below the list of toys that we still have and use. I'm still kind of sifting through that. There's a few I could probably still get rid of still, but that is what we have. If you want to see a toy rotation video, and I can share what we do have for our boys, I can do that in the future. Let me know if that would be helpful for you. And again, I know this is a very drastic shift from what the world tells us to do, or we see of Instagram reels of moms doing toy rotation with an overabundance of toys. And we go into every store and there is aisles and aisles of toys. But I strongly desire to raise godly kids. And if you are feeling the same pull and you are experiencing the same strife in your home, maybe consider doing something similar to this. And if that means being selective of the toys we allow them to play with to reduce sibling conflict, discontentment, and idolatry in our home, then I can see the need for that for raising these godly kids. I can see having a few weeks of maybe explaining and discontentment and just explaining maybe where some toys went or why we're doing things this way. But in the long run, there is such a peace about it and a need for raising these kingdom-minded children. But I would love to hear what you think. Let me know if this is something that you are struggling with as well. If doing maybe a video on our toy system and the toys that we do have would be helpful, because I have really, really minimalized the toys we have and the toys I bring out for toy rotation each week or two. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see in the future. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, friends.